With the new Dragon Ball Daima anime coming out with its first episode, as of the time of me putting this in my script, the new king of the demon realm, Goma, has made a wish to turn everyone into children, so they won't be able to stop his future plans. This had me thinking about how everyone, including the creators, have forgotten the rules of their own series. This wasn't just provoked by Daima, of course. For the past few years, the Dragon Balls have been used several times for questionable wishes that challenged previously stated lore. And beyond the creators, the community in general holds a lot of misconceptions about them as well. I hope to cover all of these issues in this video. So to start, what are the rules? Well, originally, they were non-existent unless you count only having one wish as a rule. And while not a condition of the wish, the balls scattering and turning to stone for a year was part of their lore from the beginning. We don't learn any more about them for a long time, till the end of original Dragon Ball, where we meet Kami, their creator. After Piccolo killed Shenron, we find out Kami can just bring him back. And the appearance of your dragon seems to be entirely customizable, as Shenron was made as a clay figure. It's established here that the 1-year cooldown is actually entirely fabricated by Kami, as he's able to reactivate them early. Later, after Goku wins the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, we learn that the balls are linked to their creator, and will lose their power if they die. Now, in Dragon Ball Z, Toriyama realized how OP they were, and knew he would need to start adding on some restrictions, so the cast couldn't just solve every problem with them. The first rule he added is often misremembered. Goku tells the others that the dragon can't grant the same wish twice. This is used to explain that people can't be resurrected more than once. But it also has other implications, like Shenron couldn't make you a pair of panties, as he's already made some. The second, and more important restriction, is brought up by Shenron himself. In response to Oolong asking if Shenron can get rid of the Saiyans, he tells them he can't grant wishes that exceed Kami's power. This is by far the most important rule, as it establishes that you can't just magic away an enemy. Cause, as long as they're stronger than the creator, they can just resist the power of the wish. If only the cast thought about wishing away the Saiyan space pods so they would just suffocate in space. A bit after this, Kami dies, so no Dragon Balls. Our cast has to go to Namek to find another set. After a lot of story progression, we meet Porunga, the OG dragon, as far as we know. And he's got the power to prove it, as he can grant 3 wishes instead of 1, but he carries his own restrictions. You need to speak to him in Namekian, and he can't bring back multiple people to life at once. They never really explain why, he just can't. The plot demands it. During Goku's fight with Frieza, King Kai and Kami are cooking up a plan to save everyone. During the fight, King Kai inquires about potential problems with his plan, and we find out a few restrictions. Like how, if someone is dead for over a year, the Dragon Balls can't bring them back, and they can't revive someone who has died of natural causes. Thinking about it, what does natural causes even mean? Is it just old age? What about disease? Getting murdered by somebody and getting a virus are both external factors. So, do they both not count as natural? I'm not sure. Let's move on. Back on Earth, we brought Porunga with us. After summoning him, they run into complications due to Krillin dying in space. If he was resurrected, he would come back to life in the middle of nowhere space. So, they had to wish for his soul to move to Earth first. He also informs them Goku survived Namek's destruction. After using another wish to revive Krillin, they attempt to summon Goku, but he refuses. This is an application of the previous restriction, as Goku is far stronger than Elder Mori, so Porunga can't affect Goku with his magic. This brings into question, do all Shenron's restrictions apply to Porunga? Can he revive people after a year, or bring people back who have died of natural causes? And, is he unable to grant the same wish twice? We don't really know, but I'd lean towards saying he does have them, at least the first 2. Much later, into the next arc, our next lore dump is when Goku gets Dende to become the new Guardian. We learn that a skilled Dragon Clan member can make a set of balls in 100 days. Goku is impatient, so Dende says he can just reactivate the Earth Balls instead. Krillin asks if they can up Shenron's wish count to 3 while maintaining his ability to revive more than one person at a time, and Dende says that would take 2 wishes. This is often mistaken as Dende saying Shenron will only grant 2 wishes, in general. but he's actually saying that if you make a wish to revive more than one person at a time, it would take 2 of the 3 wishes. Shenron still has 3 wishes in general. Later, Dende informs the cast that they still can't revive someone multiple times. So, this would imply you can't wish for anything more than once still, and the previous wishes Shenron granted before Dende took over still count. It's unclear if Dende could have removed this rule either way though. After the Cell Games, they wish everyone back to life. This is where I feel like Toriyama forgot how the rule actually worked. The restriction wasn't, you can't bring someone back to life twice. It was, you can't make the same wish twice. It always seemed odd to me that Goku wasn't brought back here. They didn't ask for the same wish twice. Goku happened to be included in a different wish. I don't know, it kinda works, but I always thought it was a bit weird. The next wish also feels like a bit of a stretch of the rules. Krillin wishes to remove the bombs within the androids. It's odd because he can't turn them into humans because they're stronger than Dende, but he can remove their bombs. It seems weird to me that he can't affect them, then, immediately after, he affects them in a less significant way. I don't know, maybe Shenron got permission psychically first? We don't see Shenron for a while, till midway through the Buu saga. Here, we learn that if you only ask for one of the 3 wishes, Shenron will only turn to stone for a third of the time. But wait, this is framed like a big problem. But as we previously established, the reset time isn't a restriction, but an intended feature, so why can't Dende just reactivate them too? I didn't mention it earlier, but the same thing happened while they used the Namekian balls to revive people on Earth. They also had to wait the reset time. Notably, Porunga's reset time is shorter, because a Namekian year is shorter. But they still wait instead of just getting it all done in like a week. Seems like Toriyama just forgot about how this rule was supposed to work. Later, we get to see Porunga again, and we find out he got a power-up. So, he no longer has the arbitrary restriction on not being able to revive multiple people. And that's everything from the original manga. It's interesting that more than half of the times we use the Dragon Balls in Z, we add or remove rules to fit the story at the time. During the resurrection of F, we see Sorbet attempt to revive Frieza. Shenron says he can revive Frieza, but he will come back diced, as that was the state of his body before his death. This might at first be perceived as a mistake, as when Porunga revives Krillin, he completely restores his destroyed body. But Porunga actually says he did that as a special favor, so that implies Shenron is just being a dick here. It's interesting to think the dragon has their own agency, and can act a bit like a genie if they don't like the person making the wish. That's all well and good, but this wish is actually against the rules, as Frieza has been dead for over a year, meaning this entire movie's premise is a bit of a plot hole. You could argue that Dende was able to remove that restriction when he powered up Shenron, but I find that hard to believe, as Dende doesn't spend a lot of time fine-tuning before he activates Shenron. Super Shenron has no restrictions that we know of yet, but it could be assumed that if someone was stronger than his creator, the wishes wouldn't affect them. An issue with the Dragon Balls in Super is they try to cram so much content into such a short amount of time. Sometimes, when they use the Dragon Balls, not enough time has actually passed for them to have reactivated yet. And speaking of Super having issues, now we talk about him. Toronbo, the Cerulean Dragon, only requires 2 balls, and has no reset timer, which is actually consistent with the idea that the reset time is only an intended feature. Toronbo spits in the face of all logic. He is able to make Granola the strongest mortal in the universe, above Goku. They try to justify this by saying he had to give up 150 years of his life for this power. But, is that all Goku's godly power is really worth? Goku is out here shaking universes, and literally any dude can sacrifice most of their life force to reach similar levels? It just isn't a good enough reason. Luckily, his creator says he'll seal the balls, so we don't have to worry anymore about this cursed dragon. Oh yeah, and it doesn't have the restriction on asking for the same wish twice, because Gas asked for the same thing. Now that I've dealt with the dragon in the room, let's talk passwords. Something that sparked this video was the first episode of Daima that just came out. The king of the demon realm, Goma, shows up and steals the Earth's Dragon Balls, then wishes for everyone to become children. We will talk about that in a bit, but first, Dende says he won't give them the password. It all started with Frieza in the Namek saga. assuming there's a password. It kinda works in the Namek saga, cause there kind of is a password, since you need to ask for the wish in Namekian. But in Super, characters keep acting like there's a password for the Earth Dragon Balls, while all throughout Dragon Ball, there's no mention of needing a special password. After they knock out Dende, they go through with their wish to turn everyone into children. This obviously shouldn't work, as the wish shouldn't be able to affect all of the characters stronger than Dende. Daima actually introduces a retcon to try and justify this. They introduce an entirely separate concept of white and black magic, and they say Shenron is made of white magic, so he can't do things that would be perceived as evil, like deleting people. This retcon is really pushing it, as it was specifically said those with more power than the Dragon Ball's creator couldn't be affected. And an alternative way to debunk this idea is that Majin Vegeta resisted Babidi's magic, and I don't think anyone will argue with me that Babidi was a black magic kind of guy. So, power can resist black magic. I was pretty negative throughout this video, but I don't see the constant adding and removal of rules in Dragon Ball Z as a bad thing. Toriyama had to make sure his plot had tension, and a fan couldn't just say, "Why didn't they just use the Dragon Balls?" Toriyama's attention to that kind of thing is part of why original Dragon Ball is so good. And for Super, Super is just bad. Thanks for watching to the end of this video. I'm excited to see where Daima goes from here, and hopefully I finish this video before episode 2 drops. If not, hit me with an L in the comments. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time.